Hi guys, I just wanted to do a short video about my journey with colitis. Um, when I was first diagnosed, I was very kind of like quiet about it, and it's an embarrassing thing, and it's someone in like their early 20s. It's like the last stuff you want to talk about. But now I really learned the importance of being open and living my life sort of um, out loud, and I just feel like people are more understanding um, of this illness when they hear more about it, because it's something that you can't physically see, and kind of like in this world, seeing is believing, unfortunately. So the more we talk about it, the more I think people are going to understand what we're battling. So basically, when I was 22, about to turn 23, I was in my final year of college after 5 long years, and I was actually like pretty healthy. Like I battled anxiety and stuff for just basically a really long time, and I was eating super well. I was having smoothies every day, and fruit and vegetables and chicken and salads, and I just like I was doing everything right, really. The only like thing that I maybe wasn't doing great was, I was working nearly full time and going to school full time, which was very stressful. It was really hard, but I really had no choice, so I did it. And so my final semester, we had to go for like internship interviews, and I landed like 4 different internships, and I was so excited and just like really pumped to like have that opportunity. And then I started to feel sick all the time, and at first I thought it was IBS, and I was misdiagnosed as having IBS. I mean, I had anxiety forever, so, well, for like all of post secondary school, from university to college, so it seemed like the obvious sort of answer. The symptom I never talked about was the blood, and that is what differentiates colitis from IBS. Well, IBDs in general, like Crohn's as well. So I kind of went undiagnosed, and then like my symptoms just got really bad, and I finally had to go in and get scoped, which, like, when you're young, that's the last thing you want. And let me tell you, when Katie Couric went on TV and had a colonoscopy and was acting like this was like the easiest thing she's ever gone through, and it was like, oh, la-di-da, it was not like that at all. It was horrible. It was one of like the worst experiences. It was scarring. My intestines were so inflamed, and you're not fully asleep for that. And I just remember grabbing at my stomach and just like clawing at it while they were trying to do the procedure, because I was in so much pain. It was the most uncomfortable experience in my life. Just so bad. But anyways, after that, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. And I think the most important thing, oh, I got a notification. The most important thing that a doctor said to me was that the diagnosing doctor told me, this is life altering, but it's not life ending. And those words have really stuck by me. The doctor, I remember saying, like, if the colitis doesn't come back in like a year or whatever, chances are it might not come back, because there is acute colitis that can happen once in your life, and then just you're fine. And I have talked to other people who've had that happen. So I kind of held out hope for that. Like, he put me on a bunch of medications, and like I was on Asacol and prednisone, and you know what? Like, it didn't come back in a year, and it took a little bit longer than that even for it to come back. So I thought I was cured by all means. I had missed that my last semester, made it up, did my internship at a totally different company in the summer. And the funny thing is that the company that I ended up doing my internship with, I still work with them 8 years this year later. Um, so I feel like, everything happens for a reason. And I really look at, when I was diagnosed and feeling like I lost everything by losing these internships. And then here I am, the internship that I wasn't supposed to have, but ended up having, is my career now. And I love my career. And I love the company I work for. And I would have never, never, ever, ever ended up working there if it wasn't for colitis, which is crazy. You have to see the silver lining in life in these situations, and that's one of them for me. So anyways, like, I thought I was keeping my symptoms at bay for years, and I'd have mini flares and I would just go on prednisone and then things would be fine. But I was depriving myself a lot. The doctor told me to stay away from coffee and alcohol. And at 23, in your prime years, that sucked. And I did it. I did it for 3 years. For 3 years, I stayed away from two of, like, most 20-year-olds' favorite things. And it was okay because my health was more important. And then, I don't know, I started, like, losing weight. I started getting sick. And I think I might have just been in denial for a while. I was in denial. And I landed in the hospital. And I was there for 2 weeks. And the colitis came back, like, flared it, just full force. I remember, like, it was getting bad, and the specialist that I had at the time was telling me, like, that I had to wait, months for an appointment. And I didn't think to go to the hospital. I was young, I was stupid. And I just let it get worse to the point where I finally just had to go to the hospital. Like, it was that bad. I was, like, white as a ghost. And they took me almost immediately. That's how sick I was. And yeah, I was there for 2 weeks, and they scoped me. And I remember my now specialist saying, like, he didn't feel like these were intestines worth keeping. And that meant surgery. And that scares the hell out of me. And I was not ready for surgery. I felt like I had not tried enough. And tried enough medications and enough other options and enough natural stuff to resort to surgery. And I cried so much during those 2 weeks. They were awful. And I remember the doctor then recommending that I go on Remicade. And I researched it because I'm the research queen, and it scared the hell out of me. There's, like, rat protein, and it's just, it's a lot. When you read about a biological, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, that you're going to put this in your body. So I just remember, like, curled up in my hospital bed with my boyfriend at the time, just, like, bawling my eyes out. Because I was just, like, determined that this was not going to be my life. And that was not something I was going to try. And they finally got things under control, and I didn't need Remicade, and I didn't need surgery. But I did walk out of that hospital with a brand new specialist who was actually on my, like, dream list of specialists, that if I could ever have a new specialist or get any specialist in this wonderful city that I possibly could, he was one of them. And his name is Dr. Kandel. And he is just phenomenal. Like, his whole life, I feel, is just his patience. Like, I can email him and he'll respond. Like, he's always in communication. I never have to worry about, like, having to wait months to see him. And he's just so dedicated, and I owe so much to him. He's made me cry happy tears on numerous occasions. He's just the best doctor. And I've met other people who have had him or know of him since, and they always say the same thing. It's just that he's the most fantastic doctor. And I'm always just worried about the day that he retires, because that'll be a huge loss in my life. But anyways, so I walked out of the hospital, and heavy dose of prednisone and the moon face and everything started to kick in, and I gained, I think, like 40 pounds, and most of that was, like, steroid weight. And God, I was just having such a hard time with my identity back then. It was rough. But I was healthy, and I was getting healthy, and I thought I was healthy. I felt healthier than I did, so therefore I was healthy. But I didn't know what true health could be like. But I started my doctor, my new specialist, he said to me, "Who told you not to drink alcohol and not to have coffee? Like, if you do that, you're just going to become old and senile." So he's like, "My orders to you are to go out and have a drink." And I did that. And since then, and since having my new specialist, I've enjoyed my life. I have coffee every single day right now. But I'll get to, like, why I can do that, sorry, sniffles, in a moment. But anyways, I was good. I was good for years. One thing I've noticed that my colitis flares seem to be directly connected to times that I've been on heavy doses of antibiotics. That flare that landed me in the hospital for 2 weeks, I had my wisdom teeth out and I was on heavy antibiotics. And then years went by and I lived my life. I did great things. I went to San Francisco to see my friend, and I ended up having to tour like the city on my own, and I did it. I never needed a washroom. I never needed to worry. I was in remission and it was beautiful. And then I had to have surgery on my nose and my sinuses because the bones, everything were a disaster, and I could not breathe properly my entire life. And I worried, and I knew, and we tried to prepare because I knew I would be on heavy antibiotics. But like, I needed the surgery and I put it off for too long. So I was on probiotics with the antibiotics, and we just tried really hard to contain a flare. But as time went on after that surgery, I began to flare again. And it just like, it never really got good, and it was okay. I was passing at life. It was just, life was just okay. But then last year towards the end of the year, I started to throw up like every day. And when you have an IBD, anything that's like related to like your stomach, your intestines, you just assume is related to that. And so I thought, okay, I'm throwing up. That's another like fun symptom of colitis. And I kind of just rolled with it, and I was in denial. And then one day, just before Christmas, I was at my friend's place, and I just started to feel like a pain at like the back of my neck, and thought nothing of it. Had to fly home to Sudbury the next day, and the pain got worse and worse and worse. I've written a blog about this because I won't go on and on, so you can go check it out. Anyways, it turned out that I had a blood clot at the base of my skull. I had a blood clot in my head, and it was caused by the inflammation from colitis paired with the prednisone that I was on. And my veins inflamed to the point where I had a horrible blood clot that by all means I probably should have had a stroke. And I didn't even know that is something that could happen when you're when you have colitis. I didn't know that put us more at risk for these things. So it took me the better part of a year last year, and I was in the hospital for a week, and it was really serious and it was really scary. And after that, it was obvious that I could not keep doing steroids. I could not keep doing the prednisone because it was destroying my body. So at that point, Remicade, the drug that I cried over in that hospital bed years before, was my only option. And I just stopped overthinking it and stopped being afraid of it, because when something as serious as a blood clot happens in such a serious place, you just throw everything out the window, because you know how important it is to just be healthy in that moment. Sometimes it just takes a scare like that to truly wake you up to what you need to do. And that's what that moment was for me. And so ever since then, for a little over a year now, a year and a bit, I have been on Remicade, and it has given me my life back. I can now, like I said, drink coffee every day. I can have a glass of wine. I can go out. I can just do anything. I can try new foods. I just have my life back. for a while I had to sit away from my team at work because I needed to sit closer to a washroom, and my team sits at the far end of a very long hall, of course. And I finally get to sit with my team again. And it is the best feeling ever. It's so good, and I'm excelling at work more than I ever have. The jobs I'm able to take on, the new tasks, everything, I'm more focused. I'm more, not that I ever like sucked at my job. I think I've always been really good at my job, to be honest. But I'm the best version of myself. And I'm very, very fortunate. And I know a lot of people aren't. A lot of people don't respond to Remicade. A lot of people don't have access to Remicade. And I know for me, at some point, Remicade might fail me. My body might become immune to it. And I have to prepare myself for that, but at the same time, right now, I'm just like living and enjoying living. And it's cool. It's really cool. But, the reason why I walk is that, and I'm doing the colitis walk, and I'm going to put the gutsy walk link in this video, underneath this video, is that not everyone has been as lucky as me. And there's just, people need surgeries, and people come close to dying, and people do die. I mean, it's not a life-threatening disease, but some of the complications can be. And people are diagnosed when they're so young and have so much life left to live and so much to do. And we need a cure. We really, really do. And I think that we're close. And I think that in my lifetime I will see one. But we need something. Because it's really no way to live. Treatment to treatment, medication to medication. Remicade is a form of chemo. My hair's been thinning. I'm tired all the time. And that part sucks. Like, having my life back is phenomenal. But there are consequences. And there shouldn't have to be consequences like that to live. To just do life. And as much as I want that for me, I want that for other people so much more. I just, one of my childhood best friends, my first friend ever, she has Crohn's. I have colitis. I watch her. She has a family. She takes care of a family, and she balances work and having Crohn's. And I'm in awe of her, to be honest. I'm just so in awe. And I want to care for her even more than I want one for myself. For her and her family, her girls. Like, that's what I want for her. And that's part of the reason why I walk. And I go up to Sudbury, my hometown, to walk with her. It's very special to me, and I hope that it's a tradition that we keep on for years. And our families come, and I think that's really cool. And that's my story. There's a lot more to it, and if you have questions, I'm always here to answer them, and I'm always happy to be a support when I can. That's why I use Instagram. That's why I do these videos. That's why I just always want there to be someone for others to talk to and know that you're not alone and that someone's rooting for you too. And we're a larger community, and we're all ready, and we're all willing, and we're all just going to keep pushing. We do life along with this whole illness. We go to school, we go to work, we raise children, we travel, we do all these things. Our illness is invisible. We oftentimes need a seat on the bus, but we're not the person who you're going to offer a seat to. Not to take anything away from visible illnesses, of course not, but living with an invisible illness, it's that added layer of just, it's hard for people to understand. Like I said, seeing is believing. So, this is me educating a little bit if I can. And I think, like I said, the more we share our stories, the more that we're out there, makes a little bit of difference, and every little bit will add up. And I'm going to stop myself because I'm probably rambling. I like to do my videos in one take because that's authentic, and you're really getting me and my thoughts right now, not an edited, not a cut down version. So Anyways, if you're able to support my walk, thank you so much. If not, just thoughts and prayers. Love all the way. I know I have a lot of support, and that's cool. Anyways, I love you guys. And bye for now.